Well, hello, and welcome back to another episode of the Pure Logic Podcast. I am your host, The Logical Dude. This is the podcast where I get to talk about all my dudist worldviews, exert some doodly wisdom, and just talk about really any subject I want to talk about. So I want to say thank you, first of all, for spending a little bit of your time today with me. You can find this on 3speak.tv. You can even find it on Spotify. You can also find it on other major podcasting platforms, except Apple Podcasts yet. I have not gotten approved from them yet, but whatever, it is what it is. I'd rather you come check us out on 3speak.tv or any of the Podcasting 2.0 platforms, because then you are supporting decentralization and you are supporting true online internet freedom at that point. And if you don't know why that's important, then just look around the social media these days. You got everybody being censored. You got people just absolutely being deplatformed for posting a lot of times very harmless posts, or even just posting the truth, and it goes against whatever the mainstream narrative is, and they're going to go and take you down. Well, that's kind of, not only that, but with all these crazy government mandates going on and these authoritarian politicians thinking that they have complete control over your lives, that's what's leading up to today's topic, and that is protecting you and yours. I talk about self-defense and self-policing. So first of all, I'm going to preface this by saying that I have learned from experience. I have been living out in the world, doing the nomad van life thing for the last 2 years now, almost 2 years. At the end of September, it'll be 2 years. So pretty exciting. I love this lifestyle. It's great, but you actually get to see the world for what it is. And that's been one of the biggest eye-opening experiences about this whole thing, is you get to see all aspects of life. For years, I was just, cooped up. For a long, I worked out in the world, I'd served tables and I worked in Apple retail for a long time. And then I went and I started working from home. And when you start working from home, and that's kind of what they're doing with you right now, everybody's working from home now, doing everything over Zoom and all that kind of stuff. You turn into this introvert, and then you only start seeing very small perspectives of what's going on in the world because you are sheltering yourself and only allowing yourself to see certain things. And so that's the way social media is actually just kind of toying with you, is that when you go online, you're really only seeing things that the algorithms think that you want to see. And it doesn't let you see the world on a grand scale. So you have to jump outside of the box and you have to look at things for what they are. One of these hard lessons that I've learned about being, from being out living in the world is that, and I always knew this too, just from growing up, and be real, I was a drug dealer, so slinging pot, pills, acid, all kind, coke, lots of coke, all kind of stuff, back in my younger days. So I learned from a young age how to bounce in and out of the black markets, how to avoid police and that kind of thing. But it's getting to the point now that we're, even as a legal citizen, not doing anything against their paper laws, I'm still scared of the cops. Because why? They're not here to protect you. They are here to protect the state. Now, I am not going to speak badly against all cops, because I do know some police officers that are good people. It's very few and far between, but I do know some that are some really good people that are really here to help the communities. Most of these cops are small town cops, people that know the community, people that are here to actually help protect the communities and that kind of thing. Most of the big city cops that I know, slimy pieces of shit. You're just out there to take quotas and serve the orders of your government masters, and it really makes me want to puke. So that's one reason I have to arm and protect myself, is because I feel that we will need protection from the government. Because this authoritarian rule goes completely against the Constitution and what we stand for as a republic, as a country. And, I'm speaking from a U.S. citizen, state of things. I see what's going on in Australia. Why are they able to lock you guys down? And I feel sorry for any of my people in Australia. I do have friends in Australia, you know, love you guys, you know, a lot of you guys are on the Hive blockchain and that kind of thing. I feel sorry for you though. And then the people in New Zealand and stuff. I mean, you guys are being like dystopian lockdown kind of stuff by this complete authoritarian rule because they want complete control over the people, and they have it. You know why? Because they took all your guns away, and you let them take your guns. So if you let them take your protection from you, your personal protection, then you get what you deserve. I'm sorry, but that's just is what it is. So, and I say that to a lot of Americans because we look at what they're trying to do now. They are trying to take our freedoms from us. They're trying to take our freedom of speech. They've been trying to go after guns for years. Guns are so highly regulated right now, but they say, oh, we need more gun control. Guns are extremely regulated. I'm having to wait 10 days just to get a .22 pistol. That's freaking ridiculous. Something that take you can look on a computer in 5, maybe 10 minutes max and do a background check on somebody. But I'm having to wait 10 days. And I'm like 2,700th in line or something like that. But they made me pay for the gun first. So I got a gun, it's waiting on me. I'm just waiting on the state to do their damn thing. But they make it hard for us to protect ourselves. But they're arming up all at the same time. And, you know, Joe Biden's already basically said that he has no problem attacking the U.S. people. He told us that basically we need, you know, nukes and F-15s to battle them. I don't know about you, but the world is in bad shape right now. And if you look outside the box and you stop watching mainstream media, which, you know, I know most of you guys are watching me like on 3Speak or listening to me on some of these decentralized networks, so you already know this. I'm preaching to the choir in some cases. But if you're watching me on or listening to me on YouTube or Spotify or any of these other podcasting networks, you may be just sucked into their narrative. And I want you guys to wake up. Because, you know, hey, I'm not denying the COVIDs. You know, it is what it is. My sister's a nurse. You know, she's told me some pretty horrendous stuff, especially about the newer stuff, but I'm still not getting the vax. I refuse to. One of the main reasons that I refuse to is because it's being mandated in so many harsh ways. So my ex was told that she probably shouldn't take the vaccine by her doctors because she has some rare neurological issues and they don't know how that would affect her. Well, guess what happened? She was working in the Oregon school systems. Well, our lovely governor, Miss Frau Brown, I can't stand Kate Brown. She's a horrible human being. Authoritarian piece of crap. But she is mandating that all teachers and school staff be vaccinated, basically removing all your rights. So my ex quit her job, found a nanny job with a nurse that does not care if she's vaccinated or not, and making more money than she was making at the school. So, yeah. This whole authoritarian mandated crap is getting bad. And so now even here in Oregon, they're about to start trying to mandate masks for outdoor settings as well. I will not comply, and I dare somebody to try to say something to me about it. I'm a big dude, and I'm getting in shape a little bit better every day. You know, I let myself get out of shape, let myself get out of, get fat. But I've trained in martial arts. I trained for years in Nippo Taijutsu, which is a hand-to-hand combat, basically ninjutsu. I was trained to break bones and dislocate stuff and that kind of thing, so don't take my dudeness for weakness. I will protect myself. And so will my kids. My son, he's a small little guy. He doesn't really, he's got the same kind of neurological issues that my wife does. So he's not much of a fighter. He's more of a lover than a fighter. But he has no problem putting a bullet in somebody, and he's actually a really good freaking shot. And he carries fixed blade knife with him everywhere he goes. He's 21. He's actually getting ready when he comes back from his trip to see his girlfriend. He's actually looking at picking him up a little pistol, so good for you, buddy. I will go with you and help you pick it out. My daughter, though, she's taking Taekwondo, and she carries blades with her pretty much everywhere she goes. She's 16. And fathers, I'm speaking to you right now. If you have daughters, you better teach your daughters how to defend themselves. Because there's some slimy pieces of shit out there in the world. There's some sick predators that want your daughters. And so you need to teach your daughters how to protect themselves. My daughter will kick your freaking ass. So, I'm not too worried about her. Plus, she's a healthier, she's built like me. She's built like her daddy. Where my son's built more like his mama's side of the family. My daughter's built more like me. She's a brute. So, I have no problem with that. She has no problem defending herself either. Like, especially, I love it when she's got this thing where she likes wearing overalls, and it's got the little pocket there in the front. She walks around with her knife clipped right in the pocket, just so it's like right there visible. Like, hey, don't mess with me. So, kind of like my whole premise with open carry. So I'm a 2A loving, gun toting American. Absolutely. So I wear a gun on my hip when I'm out doing my work, when I'm out doing deliveries, or if I'm out, walking around the woods, or if I'm in scantily areas, or whatever whatever it may be. I open carry. I put one on my hip. And that's more of a deterrent than anything. Now, you'll hear a lot of people say, oh, well, open carry people, the ones you got to worry about, blah, 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 blah. You got to have your concealed carry. No, I'd rather you see it and know I have it. So that way that you don't even try to mess with me. Because, trust me, you're not getting my gun. And I don't really need one. If I need a weapon, I can take it. Again, trained in martial arts. Get your kids learning some self-defense. Get your wives or ladies, if I got ladies listening to me out there in the audience, protect yourselves. Go take some self-defense courses. Learn how to shoot a gun. Don't be scared of them. They're just tools. They're tools to protect yourself. They're tools to, if we get into some kind of draconian situation, we may be having to go back to, good old hunter-gatherer kind of situations where you have to learn how to, go hunt. Well, I think ladies need to learn how to shoot. Not only for self-protection, but for self-reliance as well. And so let's get into talking a little bit, about self-policing. So, you got to protect yours in this day and age, especially, the way that things are going, not looking good. You need to, be preparing, stocking up on food. Supply lines are running low. Stuff's going to get expensive. And then, if people know that you have a lot of stuff, you may become a target. So, like, people in these ritzy areas and these cities and stuff like that, if things really go super south, these guys could be turned into targets. So you got to learn how to protect you and yours. You got to learn to protect your personal property. So, and you may come to a situation where you have to do that. And guess what? The police are not going to help you. Hell, my sister had a situation a couple weeks ago where she had this crazy tweaker out in her lawn. Would not leave from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. Stayed out there. They called crisis help. This little group called Cahoots around here. They couldn't do anything about it. They called the cops. The cops refused to even come out, said they couldn't do anything. Because there's this whole strip of their yard that's in between the sidewalk and the street that is technically owned by the city. So if they are standing in that area, city's not going to do a damn thing. This person was disturbing the peace. My nieces didn't even want to come home to their house because of it. Getting naked, peeing out in the middle of the yard and everything. Nothing. And I don't know why they didn't call me earlier. They finally called me once the police refused twice to come out and do anything about it. They finally called me. So I show up with my billy stick and my gun, and guess who gets run off? The tweaker. Didn't take long at all. All I had to do was get big, loud, and show my force, or show my willingness to use force. And that little pussy ran off screaming. Literally, I'm sorry, I'm going. That's all it took. He knew the authorities wasn't going to do anything. But when I come around and I show that I'm going to exert some force, he went taking off. That's happened twice at my sister's house. We had a tweaker run up in the backyard. Cops didn't do anything. I came and ran the fool off. So you got to learn to protect you and yours, and you have to not be afraid to protect yourself and protect your property. Make yourself big and loud. Learn how to use a gun. Don't look at it as a horrible thing. Look at it as a tool for your protection. Because that's exactly what it is. It's a tool for your protection. So I invest in tools. And I have a few. So learn to protect yourselves. Take your kids to a gun range. Go let them learn how to properly use a firearm. So let's talk about all you little wussies that like to have guns and have them locked up and all this kind of stuff because you're afraid somebody's going to find it. Your gun is completely useless in an actual real life situation where you're going to need it at that point. Because if you have somebody break in your house, you're not going to have time to go in your closet or under your bed, find the key to unlock the gun safe, unlock the gun, get the gun out, load the chamber, blah, blah, blah. You could be dead by that point. That's why I roll with my gun with one in the chamber, ready to rock at all times. I don't keep my gun locked up because it's completely useless at that point. If you have children and you have a firearm in the house, you know what you do? If they're young little kids, you put it in a place where they can't reach it. And then once they are old enough to understand, you teach them how to properly and safely use it. Because children that learn how to properly use firearms in the future turn out to be pretty strong-willed people. Now, if you're anti-gun and you believe that violence is bad and all that kind of stuff, I feel sorry for you. Because, you're going to have a hard time getting through this whole next phase of life. Because I hate to tell you, things aren't going back to normal and it's about to get a hell of a lot worse. This Davos group and the World Economic Forum wanting to basically take everything you own, wanting you to rent everything, and wanting you to be happy about it. I'm not down for that shit. The government coming in and trying to mandate stuff. These bitches need to know that they work for us, damn it. Not the other way around, so you people need to wake up. They use you as a tax machine, as a revenue machine. That's all they are to you. That's all you are to them. Well, that's all they need to be to us, is just a service provider. So we need to remind them that they are just a service provider. That's all they are. They have no rule over us. Now, all my people down in Australia, I feel bad for you guys, Australia and New Zealand and that kind of thing, that, and I know that I've got, friends down there and some listeners in Australia. I feel bad for you guys. But y'all let this happen because you let them take your guns. That kind of stuff is not going to happen in America because a lot of the citizens have guns. And there's a lot of us that are not afraid to use them. There's a lot of us that are, we're going to say, disenfranchised veterans. People that see through the shit and have seen what this government is doing and are totally not for it. And we're trained by the government to use these weapons. So, yeah. Get ready. Some times are changing, guys. They've been changing. If So, don't let these authoritarians come and mandate shit. You need to protect you and yours. You need to take your family. You all need to go take some self-defense classes. Because a family that fights together survives together. Teach them self-defense. Teach them how to use proper firearms. and just protect yourself, because you could be a target in the future, especially if if you got a nice house and you got a lot of stuff, you're going to have to protect it. That's why going back to the last episode, talking about, does your stuff own you or do you own your stuff? I don't have a lot of stuff. Most of my assets are all digital and they're protected by private keys that are in my head. Can't mess with that. Can't get my money. And trying to kill me ain't gonna help you at all, because again, the private keys are in my head. That's where crypto separates us. Crypto is financial future. So if you are not into the crypto space yet, if you're out there listening to me on Spotify or YouTube, you need to come check out the Hive blockchain, freespeak.tv, where you can actually get rewarded for your time and your content, and you own your data, you own your account. No tech oligarchy owns your account. You've seen how people have been censored and taken off of social media at the drop of a hat, just because these corporations can do whatever they want with their platforms. Well, that can't happen on the Hive blockchain. So come speak your mind, and don't be afraid of censorship, because you own your data, and again, you can be rewarded for it. So, got to protect not only our physical properties, but our digital properties as well. And our data is our digital property, our digital reputation, if you will. So learn about crypto, buy you some Bitcoin, come join the Hive blockchain, get educated on the future of the web, and come get with some like-minded folks, some people that believe in freedom, that believe in true freedom of speech, and that are ready to stand up and fight this whole global fascist new world order bullcrap that's going on. So that's going to be it for today, guys. I know this is a little different than what y'all are used to from me, a little heavier of a subject, but hey, in great dudist fashion, everybody's got their balance. You got your dude side, which is what you guys generally know. My cool, fun back, loving stoner side. But then you've also got the Walter Sobchak side. And if you don't have a Walter side, it's best that you probably get at least a small one, so that you can react and you can know what to do when you're ready to react, and you're not going to be scared to protect yourself. Don't be scared to protect yourself. Don't be scared to arm yourself. Be smart about it. And teach your kids how to defend themselves. Teach them how to be good citizens to not just your country, but to humanity, period. And yeah, don't take shit from the man. So that's going to be it for today. I love all of you guys. Again, I want to thank y'all for spending this little bit of time with me today. Next podcast, I promise, won't be such of a heavy topic. But I just feel like with things going on and with everything happening in the world, I felt like we needed to have this discussion. So let me know in the comments what you feel about your self-defense. How comfortable are you protecting yourself if things go south? Can you handle you and yours? Can your kids handle themselves? If they're small kids, and that's, a whole different thing, but then that's the time to get them in. Little kids, getting them up, because they, oh man, like I'm trying to get my niece into martial arts. My little young niece. The older one, she's in gymnastics and is loving that and doing great, and she's a little lover. But the younger one, man, she's the brute. She's the little fighter. So I want them to put her in something like that so she can learn, how to take care of herself and learn how to take care of her sister too. So, but you get them in as kids, you build their self-confidence, build their self-esteem, and they're going to want to continue, or they may not want to continue with it, but they'll at least have the skills at a young age how to defend themselves and how to take care of themselves. And just really how to be strong people in general. Because that's what it is there's too many weak-minded beta people out there, and it's driving me nuts. So you need to alpha up, people. Let's alpha up and learn to protect yourselves. And protect your rights and protect your freedoms. Because that is one of the parts to my journey to becoming healthy, wealthy, happy, and having true personal freedom. But everybody, I love y'all. Have a great rest of your day. I think next week we're going to talk about some van life topics. Talk about maybe some living in the city in a van kind of thing. You know, give you some ideas about that. So y'all have a great rest of your day. Be cool, be real. Always abide.